Yo, what's up, brothers? Today I'm going to be talking about the warnings that I received, and that was back in my teenage years. And I'm going to be talking about the two warnings that I received, and I realized that I should have walked away from the BWs back then, but I didn't listen to the warnings. Anyway, I'm going to mention about the first warning. Right in 2011, in 2011, one of my brothers introduced Tommy Sotomayor, the YouTuber. He talks about the problems about the BWs, yeah, right? One of my brothers introduced Tommy Sotomayor to me. I was in my teenage years and I didn't really know about female nature, yeah, because I was very immature and I was naive back in the day. Right? In 2011, he introduced Tommy SoMo to me, and then I started to watch his videos, and then I started to agree. Right? For me, that was the first. He was the first YouTuber was talking about the problems about the BW. He was the first YouTuber that I watched, and he was talking about how the BWs are just too aggressive, too masculine. They're not very friendly. They always want to emasculate you, and I started to agree with him. And that was the first warning. That was the first warning that I should have walked away from them back in 2011. But I chose not to, even though I agree what Tommy SoMo was saying, right? But I just didn't move away from them. While I still did like them back then, right? And that was the first warning, but I didn't accept the warning, right? And yeah. He was the first YouTuber that I've watched talking about these issues, these relationship issues with the BWs, right? And that was my first warning, but I didn't accept it. I was naive, right? Now, my second warning, and that was back in 2015, when one of my friends, I was in college in 2015, so I think I was 17 years old at the time. No, I was 18 years old at the time, right? One of my friends came up to me and he said about Tommy SoMo, and he mentioned the same YouTuber that I watched 4 years before I met my friend, right? And he was talking about how the problems with the BWs, how much they are not very friendly and not very nice towards black men. And he mentioned that towards me, one of my friends. And again, I agree what he was saying about how black women are just not it. They're just not relationship material, right? But again, I just didn't accept the warning. And that was like January 2015. Obviously, I converted myself to SYSBM a month after January. So that was the 26th of February 2015. That is when I fully converted. That's when I joined the SYSBM movement. But a month before, I was living in this fantasy. I was living in illusion, believing that the BWs are still interested in me. I was naive. I was such a fool back in the day. But yeah, one of my friends said about Tommy SoMo, and he said that how the BWs are just not it. Even though I agree what one of my friends was saying, but I still didn't accept the warning. And that was the second warning. It's not a coincidence. After one of my friends warned me about the BWs, it's not a coincidence that them black witches came up to me and start being seductive, trying to seduce me. And at first it did work. It did work because I was so stupid and naive to fall for that. Then I started to be a bit more cautious towards them. And then the last thing when I turned against, when I lost my temper, is when they set me up to that pookie. I mentioned that on my first video about how they set me up to that pookie, right? I could have been deleted, but instead, thank goodness I wasn't, or else I would have been deleted. But thank goodness that he didn't do anything, and he was just laughing at me, and the BWs were laughing at me as well, right? And I just flipping stormed off, and I just went mad. And I should have realised that there were 2 warnings before them BWs came up to them black witches. I should have realised, but I was so stupid for not listening to the warnings. So yeah, I received 2 warnings before I joined the SYSBM movement. One warning was in 2011 when one of my brothers introduced Tommy SoMo to me, and another warning was one of my friends in college mentioned about Tommy SoMo again, but I still didn't accept the warning. I was naive. I was absolutely naive, man. But now now I understand. When I look at it back into about 2011 to 2015, before I joined the SYSBM, when I looked at it back, it makes sense. I received 2 warnings, right, by two people that I know. One of my brothers and one of my friends. I received 2 warnings from them, and how to walk, to realise that the BW just ain't it, and I should just walk away from them because they just ain't it. But I was so deceived. And then them black witches came up to me, manipulate me, controlled me, and set me up to that Pookie and then Ray Ray. And nah, man, that was it. When they did that, that was the final straw. I stormed off, I kicked the bin. When I went home from college, I was very, very angry, right? And I just didn't want to talk to, obviously, my mother and my brothers. I didn't want to talk to none of them because I was so vexed and angry because what them black witches done to me. And I don't know, it was a couple of days later or a couple of weeks later. It might have been days later. That's when the white girl came up to me, and she was the complete opposite of them black witches. And since then, I realised that the BWs just ain't it. So yeah, that's how I received these 2 warnings from. It's God. God probably was warning me. He probably used these 2 people that I know personally, one of my brothers and one of my friends, and it seems that he was warning me to stay away from the BWs, because how they have caused me a lot of problems even before 2011. They have caused me a lot of problems. Did I tell you? I think I did mention this on my first video about I mentioned about the situation when the black girl slapped me in the head. She slapped me in the head for no damn reason, and I went off. That might have been back in early 2011 actually, right? And it proves it that I did struggle and I did had problems with the BWs before 2011. So it's not a coincidence that I received those 2 warnings from God. And I just didn't accept the warning at the time, because I was just naive. But anyway, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. And if you have received warnings like that, you must listen. Don't just ignore the warning. Don't ignore the red flags, because because it looks like somebody is showing you that if you have a bad connection, if you have a bad interaction and connection with the BWs, and you receive warnings, just like one of my brothers showed me, Tommy SoMo to me, right? You should just listen, just be alert, just listen, just be alert in it. So just be careful out there, brothers, man. Your safety is far important than you. And that's a fact. Stay away from these low quality, well, not just the BWs, by the way, but stay away from low quality as a whole. Stay away from them. They will destroy your life eventually. So stay away from them. Move on. Get your passport. I fully support the Passport Bro movement. Get your passports. Go where you are wanted. And these women overseas will treat you way better than the women in the West. So yeah, get your passport, brothers, and get your Bibles as well. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video, and goodbye. SYSBM all day, every day, man. All day, every day.